Yeah, if this was a classroom and I was a teacher, you would be the students, right? And I would maybe pick one of you guys on the back row there to come up here and give a bit of a resume of what I talked about last year. Would be a good idea, right? Luckily, I'm not a teacher, and this is not a classroom. But 1 year ago, different city, Madrid. This looks old, because in digital terms, it sort of is. Because this is what last year looks like in digital. I come from a world of subsea engineering, product development, and been going digital the last 5 years. It's very different worlds. Like when I was part of product development programs where you saw timelines of 5 to 7 to 10 years from TRL 0 to TRL 7. Compare that to software. We ship software every day. Every day, small increments of software improvements hit the users, hit the market, without them really noticing it. So totally different dynamic, and that's why last year is really last year in this space. So, yeah, same guy, same outfit. I use this outfit every time I'm at a conference. I've been at these 2 conferences. Last year, I spoke about potential of digital twins. I talked about why someone, theoretically, would like to deploy digital twins. I talked about what it potentially was, how you would go about acquiring a digital twin if you were an operator or an EPC company. I talked about what the raw ingredients to a digital twin could be. A bit of a playbook kind of speech. Today, I'm going to turn it around a little bit and talk about impact. Because once digital twins start to become, start to actually save you money, reduce number of offshore trips, improving safety, like for real, and improving decision making, it changes. And expectations change to these digital tools. So that's the topic of today. So what I've done here is I've tried to group some of the feedback that we have received from, and I'll call them users, not customers. In software, where we look at users, because those are the ones clicking into our product every day. This CEO of an oil company doesn't. So we're frenetic about the user experience. What I've done is I've looked back 1 year in since Madrid and listened to our users and tried to collect some of the key feedback, some of the key value points that we have heard throughout this year. So 5 topics, 5 slides, should be easy to take in this time of day. So it's about reduced work offshore. That's number 1. It's about engineers no longer wasting their time trying to find information. If you've been working as an engineer in this oil and gas world, you know how much time you've spent in your life probably trying to find information in hidden lockers or difficult source systems. It's about what I call precision maintenance. There's a lot of predictive and all that stuff. I'll come back to what it is. And then the stuff that is very often difficult to quantify, safety and risk. And then, lastly, the needed investment. Your data. So 1 year in, a customer tells us that they've avoided in one deepwater facility in the Gulf of America 10 offshore trips. They've saved $1 million in dimension control surveys and done fabrication planning without physical verification. This is actual savings, right? It's people that can now sit remotely behind the laptop and plan work. Doesn't matter where they sit. But the key is that they now trust the data and they're able to do this. I heard a case here where an operator were planning a modification to their telecom system offshore, did the standard thing, call in the supplier for a meeting, plan to go offshore, and then someone said, hold on, we can look at this in the twin. We have everything we need. You can plan this from your laptop. 1 trip, 2 people, saved, accelerated modification of that telecom system. So with information at your fingertips, all in one place, that helps. And visual confirmation really replaces that tribal knowledge that we have, and I probably sit in this room as well, and we're all victims of. There's been talk about here these couple of days, the age of the oil and gas community, how do we bring new people on board? People today, they expect different things from the working environment. They expect the applications that they're used to from iPads or iPhones. And they expect information. And with that information at their fingertips, surveys that our customers have done show that they reduce the time to find information significantly. That means they can plan faster, means they can execute faster. Maintenance. With improved spatial understanding, with all the information you need in one place, you can plan differently. And key trend here to take notice of is that in this case, maintenance job replanning dropped from 14 to 11% in a year. That continues to drop with the same percentage year over year. That's a lot of maintenance and offshore mobilization not happening because people do it right the first time. Safety, risk, HSE. We've heard customers organizing company-wide safety drills, including everything from choppers to lifeboats to real scenario emergency things involving more or less the whole crew. In the last one here, again back to this Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico operator, they then rigged up a whole operations room with this digital twin. And by giving everyone the same spatial context and understanding during a drill, whether they were sitting offshore or onshore or remote somewhere else, they were able to contribute and solve the whole exercise much faster. So not only did they successfully go through the drill, but they also went through this drill 1 day faster than they normally would have done. So this takes us to the last point, really, which is what you need to do to get there. If you look at this picture, this really speaks to data quality. On the really colorful side there, you'll recognize that as a 3D model. And on the other side, that's more the Google Street View of the same thing. And you would see that they differ, right? So which one would you make a decision based on? With both of those two things here available to users, to planners, maintenance planners, they obviously sit remote and they see that there's gaps in the data. And they understand that the 3D model is maybe not updated. They see, they overlay the picture and they see what they have to deal with. So there's a lot of good data in the world. Jason talked about it on the AI side. But without dealing with gaps like this in data, people will probably not trust it, and the adoption is not there. And without adoption of new tools, there's no value. So if there's one area where we all need to invest money, it's in the data. And we know that we're sitting on 40-year-old assets out there, poor data, but it is possible. We twinned up 40-year-old assets in ACE today. We've adopted hundreds and hundreds of users. It's doable. Step at a time, it's doable. And the value comes through. So I'm not going to go on for long. I thought I'd finish with a picture. A picture of a happy bunch. These guys are shut down. This is the shutdown team of one of the big FPSO companies in the world. Some of you might recognize the logo on their shirt. And they're running all the shutdowns of these FPSOs worldwide. We were lucky to be invited into a workshop with them in Rio last summer, where we were able to work with them on the problems to solve, work with them on how to use digital twins in shutdown planning. Welligans talked about, was it yesterday, the value of an FPSO every single day in operation, and how much money you're losing in a shutdown. So by working as a team here, taking out the value that I just spoken about, and that really leads to actual days of savings in shutdowns, which then obviously benefits the end customer, the operator in this case. So that was it for me. Some customer proof of what digital can do. This is probably not unique to ACE as a digital tool. I think this is agnostic to many tools in the market, but it's all about taking them into use and embracing them and getting people to go on this journey, take out the value. So thank you.